Hi, ladies. Welcome back to another episode of the Mom Boss Maximizer podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Burnham, and we're going to be talking about organizing and running women's events. And I'm going to talk about the do's and don'ts. I never actually did a reflection on the podcast because life, and I don't think I ever have felt so burnt out in my life, which I anticipated it because of the amount of time everything happened in, but also I was going on vacation with my family just days later. And so I knew that I had to record a reflection on my phone where I wasn't journaling a lot because I was so just pretty much on the grind. I was in hustle mode. And that is the first what I would not do, or where I would not set myself up for next time, next year in March for God's girls using their strengths. So I didn't even share my reflections. I did it via social media, but here on the podcast, I can really get, deeper. And I wanted to listen to my 20-minute reflection on my phone, but I really just wanted to get this out there because when it's on my heart and my head is, saying another thing too, it's just like, all right, maybe I'll post this up, maybe I won't, but let's just go for it. Okay, so I actually put up on my phone and I want to share this. This is the first takeaway that I'm talking about with organizing women's events. My first photo that I thought I was going to post for Guts with announcing it was on January 22nd. And this is what it looked like. Now, if you're listening, it's a previous picture from Hit It with Britt. And it's when we did Guts, more of like the fitness and the fitness and health, just overall, that was the topic. And that was January 22nd. And shortly after that time, I was attending and going to a workshop called Girlfriends in Business out in Scottsdale with Lori Harder. And leading up to that event, it was really just trying to first really just process of where I wanted this event really to go, because I haven't done an event in 4 years, like pre-pandemic style. It was actually the 2020 year. I did it at the old location. It was Power, actually. And I was just like, where do I want this to go? I also wanted to I had to really process, like, where do I want to go? What do I need? So I did talk about this in other episodes and at the event I created something that there was a need for here in the capital region, but also selfishly for myself, personally and professionally. And so the vision for it got bigger because I kept saying to myself, stop playing small, like go big or go home, like that old school mentality, right? And it's just like dream big. If I'm saying that to other people and I used to say to myself all the time, then why am I like really trying to put myself in this little container when I know there's so much more that we can do together, and there's so many more people that we can impact on not just the level of health and wellness. So opening that up did create a lot more work and time, but it was like the work and the hustle and the time that I fucking loved. And when I say loved, I woke up every morning early, to bed late every single night. I felt like I was starting all over again. I feel like I was starting a whole new business, because I said to Relly, who was my studio manager, her real name was Nicole, guys. I said to her, you are completely in charge of the gym for the next 2 months. I need to be 110% bought into Guts, because I have this bigger vision, and here is what I believe, and here's what I want it to be. And I was just showing her some pictures, and I'm like, okay, you do you. I'm going to figure out how to make this, dream come to fruition. So the first post, I started the Guts Instagram account with I just started following people and businesses and women. And it was on February 15th. February 15th, and the event was on March 23rd. Like, who the fuck am I? Who am I? Who am I? And I was just like, yep, I got it. And this is what breeds confidence, is when you take action and then you wake up with excitement. And this was really the catalyst to my Mom Boss Maximizer mastermind, because I was like, I did that. I am like, I got that feeling again that I am capable of more. I just needed that validation, not from others, but to myself, that I did that in that amount of time, and that it came together exactly how I just planned it. And whew, I mean, between being sold out, between getting 16 panelists who are freaking fire and so powerful, and the MC Miranda, and all of the sponsorships and all of the silent auctions, I'm gonna just pat myself on the goddamn back, because that was all me. I did everything by myself. This is the learning lesson right now. I don't want to do it all by myself. I can't do that to my family again. I can't do that to my health. I did not work out for 2.5 weeks. I was stressed. My neck was killing me from like looking down on my phone like this and just like scrolling voice notes, voice notes, voice notes. Like just today I had a meeting for LLS for Christina Primero, who was our photographer there. And she's running for LLS, which I did previously during the pandemic year. And I said to her, like, what you need to do is individual reach outs. Like, that is the golden ticket to people saying yes and people getting back to you. Emails and social media, like when you're in a time crunch, that's not going to do it. And people want to feel special. So like if I were to give you any advice when you're running women's events, that personal reach out does mean so much more, and you're going to get a response faster. That's why I like doing it. I'm a voice note girl, because you can hear my tone, you can hear my passion and my excitement, and you can hear my heart. So when I'm voice noting, like I had a goal in 1 week, I believe it was that week of the 15th, to reach out to 50 businesses. And like there was no organization. I did not plan it accordingly. So that first week I was like, I gotta reach out to 50 people. I sent an email out, but I think there was maybe 2 responses I sent an email out to like 100 people. But when I went on Instagram and I saw they read it, then I was like, okay. And so a voice note that I was just like, it wasn't a copy and paste. It was a personal voice note to every single owner, every single business of, this is Brittany. I am owner of this. I'm organizing this for this reason, because this, and I'm wondering and curious if you want to contribute. Do you want to contribute to the event, to the silent auction? There's so many ways. Like I just practiced and practiced. It was repetition. And it just became just easy. It was just trying to find people in the capital region who would be interested of donating and contributing and partnering for such a good cause, because to try to find the cause too. So like when you're organizing an event, you have to find like the purpose behind it and the mission behind it. That is like my first do. I actually didn't write notes. I should have wrote notes and prepared for this one, but I'm just going to go off. That's why I said, am I going to use this or not? Why not? Let's be real. Let's be raw. So you got to find that purpose. And then you got to find, and then from there, like that's when you can be able to speak with conviction and confidence on who this is for, why this is for, and how that's going to look. So the one thing I would, and so going back when I said there was no organization of this, of how I went about planning this and organizing it, one thing I would do differently is reverse engineer the process. And I reverse engineered that last week of what that last week looked like, and what reverse engineer means and looks like. If I were to start this next process, to start the planning again next year, which it's happening, I would start I'd start in November. I'd start like 4 months. So 4 to 5 months in advance to put the date out there, get the feelers out there. And when you're reverse engineering, you start with the end date and you work your way back. So what does that look like from a month to month basis, and then week to week, and then day by day? So that ultimately is the goal next time. That's why I would change differently. Also, the financial part of it. So like you're reverse engineering, not just the planning and organizing, but like, what do you want to make? Like, let's not hide behind the scenes here. Let's be real. There's so much potential on making a profit and making money with these events. And hell yeah, the amount of time and energy and excitement you put into something, you certainly want to make something from it. So maybe this time around, wasn't so much of a profit. It's like what I want it to be, but that wasn't my goal this year. My goal was just to be like, I want to give something more to so many more women. And I'm not sure exactly what that looks like, but let's just like, I was just really going with the flow. I didn't even have the 16 women panelists of who I was completely confident in asking. I had a few, and and like, it just kept coming. So like how it worked even on on creating the panels, I was really like taking myself of how I have grown and what type of personal development I feel is very necessary for the audience of who I wanted to empower and who I wanted to celebrate with and who I wanted to bring clarity, because in all my years of entrepreneurship and being a mom, these topics were the main topics of conversation, whether it be in my podcast, in person, and what I needed assistance and support in with my mentor. So the confidence in branding and being seen, a book came out by Jen Gottlieb, Being Seen. I was just like, oh my God, this is a fucking great book. And confidence is everything. I believe I've always had confidence since I was a little baby, but even though I've had imposter syndrome in many aspects of my life, still to this day, you just gotta check yourself. But like it's all about putting yourself out there, messy, and not being perfect. So that topic was killer with Taylor Rayo, the Buttonista, with Heidi Rotter, with Christina O'Donnell, who owns Bright Sided Studios up in Saratoga, and with Catherine Hover, who owns Palette up in Saratoga as well. So those four women came together, and like there was no practicing. We just went up there, asked some questions, and it just flowed beautifully. The next topic, Vitality Unleashed. I was just like, okay, obviously I come from a health and wellness background. I got to put that in there. That's everything. Women's health is just evolving, especially as we get older. And for me, selfishly, personally, I've been experiencing lots of changes. So that's why I created that. I was like, I want to learn more about hormones. I want to learn more about the nervous system. I want to learn more about feminine energy. Like, I'm like, enough of being in my masculine and running shit in business and running shit at home. Like, I need to bring out this feminine energy. And I was like, hello, Tommy Birch. You were on an episode previously. So Tommy, I want you to give that to the audience who maybe didn't listen to the podcast episode. Like, she's so young and she's so driven. And I see so much of her in me when I was her age that I'm just like, yes, I need to support you. And I want you to support other women and impact other women, because what you're doing is incredible. And then when I think of Dr. Rhiannon Kloss, like, holy crap, like she's a client here. She's a member at Power, but like, she's not your typical ordinary chiropractor. And I learned that through two of my team members who went to her office and got these scans of their nervous system. And it just tells a lot. It goes deep. So I made my appointment after guts, because I was like, what's going on in my body? Something is changing. I'm 41. And then we go into Dr. Jennifer Goldstock. She is the owner of Synergy Health, Integrative. And she's all about women's health. She's all about hormones. And I mean, it's like, and she's so funny. But like when she speaks, I mean, she was recommended to me by Gina Tronco, who came on the podcast, and she was talking to me about hormones and breast cancer and said, oh, Jen, so this is why connection is just everything, because the amount of impact that happened on that stage. And then the last person was Christina McLurkin. And she's my friend from high school. And just seeing her, how she has elevated and grown and started her business in functional nutrition, and how she has impacted so many women, and how she's and just like her shifts. I'm just so proud of her. I want to celebrate her, but I also want her to bring that her gifts and her wisdom on stage. So this was just organically happening. I had maybe two people per panel, but I never named them. I was like, okay, what's another topic that I love? I love leadership. So who would be amazing in the capital region for leadership? And then I was like, do I just want to stay in the capital region? How about one of my closest friends, Shatara Waiters, who I worked with her for years, and she's inspired me as a mom boss, and she's down in New York City. So brought her, and Kathleen McLean, who is a boss in the capital region, and brought Megan Baker. I mean, can we talk about one of the most beautiful, poised women, and who I've always she's inspired. She's so influential and it's just freaking gorgeous. So, and then why am I missing? This is totally disrespectful. I'm missing the fourth person of leadership. And then the other panel, own your fuckery. Like with own your fuckery, I just knew I wanted something about resilience, because if there was one topic that I could talk about and I was a guest on other podcasts, it would be about resilience and overcoming obstacles and turning them into opportunities, and thinking about that group of women and who can represent that, and like who can be really gritty and raw and powerful. That's, I was like, okay, my girl Claude, who I just met at the previous one, and when she talks, like I just gravitate towards her, and she's contagious, and not all women are, because she's really raw. But like, I'm like, that's the badassery that I love. And oh my gosh, and then Carly Taylor, like, I mean, if you don't know Carly Taylor, now you know Carly Taylor, because she is just like, this is it. I'm direct. I'm honest. This is how it is. My girl Karina from down in New York, her story was just so unbelievably powerful. Like how she, like what she experienced and how she overcame that and where she is right now. And then Marissa Ackley, who is a double leg amputee from COVID. I mean, if you had to leave early because of a freaking snowstorm on March 23rd, like, are we for real? Like, I think we got a foot of snow and you couldn't be here for the Own Your Fuckery panel. It was just all, it was just, I mean, silence, like just to hear the stories of overcoming and building that resilience and seeing how they turned their pain into their passion. So going back to my do's and don'ts, like that just organically happened because I am a visionary and I'm fucking great at like seeing and putting things together and finding those solutions. I know I'm great at that. I know I'm great at connecting. I had to think of the synergy on stage. I had to think about what women could really like be cohesive together. Oh, I'm sorry. I need to apologize. The last woman for the leadership panel is Christina Roberts. So she is one that I had a pass with we're both educators and we worked together very, in a small amount of time. And just to see how she has left the educational system, but now consultant. So going back, sorry, just like planning it. Now I know what I need to do and what I don't need to do. And what I need to do is hire an event planner, hire an assistant for next year, and start the process earlier, not 5 weeks before. And then definitely have a team to help. The day before, it was just Relly and I. Relly, like my go-to person in the gym, right? She's my wing woman. She's my executor. She's the yin to my yang. And, the day before, it was exhausting. And the day of, it was exhausting. And I was told from a few of my friends who plan events from other spaces in the personal development space, they're like, you got to take like a good 2 or 3 days to do absolutely nothing. You got to like go get a massage, go just like lay down. And I couldn't the next day. I had basketball games all day. Like I didn't think I could function, but I also had to pack for a family of 6. So I was hurting. I really was hurting. And it's like a month to like yesterday was the event. And I still haven't been able to fully reflect and process, because it went from, and this is like what I don't want. I don't want to go from a huge event to a family vacation and now launching another master and then launching a new program, a new project, which is my mastermind. I don't want to do that for next year. I need some time, because if Blissful Brit really is like acting out to be Blissful Brit, and what I've said in the past is like this version of me of what I want. I don't want to be in hustle and grind. Like, yes, I work under pressure. Yes, I'm great under pressure, but I don't want that for my children. I love for them to see me grind. Like, I love for them to see me work hard and to be that role model, but I also need to breathe. And I need to like when I'm experiencing stress, my body breaks down. And when you experience stress, like how does that come out? Because it's got to come out some way. So that is like the do's and the don'ts, like just a a very quick version, even though this is what, 20 minutes. I did want to reflect on it. So like just, but also give my insight and my experience on what I will do differently. And I know next year is going to be even more powerful, because even having 4 panels, that was a lot. We couldn't, since we had to start late because of the snowstorm, we had, I had to take out the action, the takeaways part, the part where we actually brainstorm together. Like that really upset me. I was genuinely upset that day, just with that. Like I'm so happy, but I was like, these takeaways, I put these questions together. I wanted people to network more. So I know for next year, and I'm so glad I actually um, put out the survey, because people did say that there wasn't enough time for that interaction. We had the lunch, which was fantastic. We had the vendors all in there, which was beautiful, was amazing. Like I'm just so grateful for everyone's yes and believing in my vision in such a short amount of time. I'm like, oh my God, if this can happen, then I can do more. And I want to give more, but I want to break out. And that's why I have the mastermind, to be able to connect with more mom bosses and give more, because I've done the damn thing and I'm going to be doing more. Shoot, like I know I want to write a book someday. There's so much shit that like people don't know, that it's just like I want to be able to relate to women, but also be able to like give you grace and to give you permission. Like you can do it too. It's okay to want more. It's okay to want to do more, but we're going to be striving to do more and to want more, but to do less. Like to be better, but do less. It doesn't have to be complicated. I'm going to say it, and I say it all the time. It's called simplify to amplify. We're going to simplify the process to amplify the outcome. So, on that note, like I hope so much that you're able to like feel my passion when it comes to guts. And if this helps you and you're trying to organize an event, reach out to me, because I reached out to my friend Lindsay Schwartz, who owns Powerhouse Women. I was asking her questions. I was on her podcast, getting her feedback, and it was so helpful, because really we are not alone, and that's why I'm doing this. So until next time, maximize your mom boss potential.